Okay, hi friends. They say don't make emotional videos, or when you're dissociated, for those of us that have DID, or if they're likely to get you in trouble. But I am. This is the first of a project, which is notes from my autobiography as fully as I can remember my life, 64 years of it, in 2022. If not now, when? If not me, who? And I'm going to make a separate YouTube channel, Baroness Le Poire d'Issigny. I claim the name Baroness by the fact of never having signed an oath to the Crown or civil service, any government body. Baron David Ward did amazing etymological work on that, and we are all barons unless we have signed oaths to the Crown or the governments. Le Poire is the Irish for my family name Power, the lost bloodline. I have research on that. And Frances Mary Power, who did the research, won genealogical research awards 2 years in a row, not even being a professor or academic, but she exceeded and excelled all other academic works on research. She took the family bloodline so far back. d'Issigny was the original name of Disney. I'm not a bloodline Disney. I was married, engineered into a marriage with a Disney. Was with him 13 years, left him in 2001, but kept the name because of the two progeny, one Viking, one Aryan, my sons, for simple reasons. And to be honest, I got so ripped off in the divorce, the only thing I had left was the controversial name. So double-fold reason, but I know it triggers a lot of survivors. So d'Issigny, D''ISIGNY was the original French spelling before they came to the UK in 1066, and then half of them settled in a village which came to be known as Norton Disney, north of London, near Stevenage, I think, and the other half came to Carlow and Kilkenny in Ireland, eventually emigrating to America, and that's the Walt Disney side of the family. The UK Disney side, my father-in-law was a squadron leader in the Royal Air Force, a Freemason, and my ex-husband was, in my opinion, also an MKUltra child of the military projects, heavily dissociated, equally ignorantly engineered into pursuing me, which the puppet masters were just playing with, like horse breeders or pedigree dog breeders dream of finding Shergar or finding a long lost thoroughbred line or spaniel line in order to reintroduce and avoid inbreeding, which ends up with royal cousins in lunatic asylums, just as the Queen in England had two cousins locked up until they died. And there's a documentary in mainstream media about that. Just look up, I think it's called something like The Queen's Lost Cousins. So this is going to be a no-holds-barred, full-on story of my life. I'll only share the link to the channel with a trusted few. I'm tempted, I've resisted Patreon, and I can't even upload these to BitChute because of my journalism work where I cover paedophile rings like Hampstead and Anglesey. I'm heavily trolled by Satanists, and they jump on anything to do with my personal life, my family, the brokenness of at least 5 documented generations of abuse, right down to my grandniece from my grandfather, Irish grandfather. Paedophiles on both sides of the family, Freemasons and witches on my mother's side, psychopaths and paedophiles on my father's side, as well as being a lost bloodline, and military connections on my father's side, having spent 25 years in the Royal Air Force. I will upload to this channel because I've got DID, my channels, I used to have one channel for journalism and one for survivor stories, but the main journalism one got taken down for obvious reasons, because I was exposing the two biggest cover-ups in our time, namely Hampstead and Anglesey. So that my main channel got taken down. It's backed up on Archives of Truth, or it's getting backed up. And then some got mute from even my backup YouTube channel. So I'm trying to separate them, and this is my secret. Possibly might be Patreon, with a healthy monthly minimum of €25 a month or something, to help crowdsource getting an editor to put these in chronological order, or commit them to the written word as a book to be published, not a vanity book, a proper book, documenting intergenerational abuse and MKUltra, mental control, ultra, the project or projects revved up since post-World War II and still carrying on. It's gone greatly from microcosm to macrocosm. You only have to look at the last 2 years of the public being hoodwinked with this pandemic, and now the public being hoodwinked with this World War III possibility. But as a 64-year-old, there aren't many of us left still testifying. And so my pastor in America urged me to prioritize writing it down. So I want to document this for history and for my own sanity. So that's an introduction. So I will transfer, it might take me a month or 6 weeks, but I will upload to this specific channel all relevant videos. The best way I can, I am a good writer, very good writer, but the best way I can document without dissociating too much is to the camera. So I'm hoping to find a really dedicated editor that will either put the video disclosures into chronological order and or make sense of them into a book, and even change the names, make it fiction. I don't care, as long as in some form or another the truth gets out. So to those of you who have received a link to this, please don't share it publicly. This is notes for a book or a video series, documentary, autobiography, whatever you might call it. There's great turmoil in my life at the moment. I've raised, I conceived 5 children, twins. First of all, a child to a Lebanese man in London in about 1982 and I miscarried at 5.5 months due to an horrific incident with the boyfriend of my sister's. I'll go into that. I think I have in one of my videos. Then I had my daughter engineered into a hunted down encounter with an American Sicilian whose parents have Priory of Zion connections, mafioso. And then I married a Disney and had 2 sons, one of whom has come under hypnotic seduction by a Protestant child of a possible orange man in the Republic of Ireland. I don't know. That's conjecture, but I'm going to give myself full permission to speculate. I don't care if my book ends up being published as fiction. Those who know will know, and those with whom the truth resonates, who are filled with the Holy Spirit, will recognize it. So I do believe at the moment that my son has been seduced, entrapped, hypnotized, and banished. My 24-year-old son, who has been the most treasured and cared for because of a visual impairment. The Aryan one, who fortunately for him had a blemish, because if he had been born tall, blonde, blue-eyed, stunning-looking Aryan bloodliner with no blemishes, I've no doubt he would have been entrapped into Hollywood or sacrificed by now. But he's disappeared, and I'm fighting for the will to live. So I'm hoping that this space I'm creating for myself to freely, fully express will give me a reason to get up every day. I feel like the 3 children of mine, because my firstborn son to the Disney was a twin, but I lost his twin during the pregnancy, but at least he survived. And he's the only one still in touch with me. So out of 5 conceived children, 1 is still in communication, 2 are in heaven, and 2 are off getting vaccinated and living a worldly life and cutting their mother off. And it feels at the moment as if my children were the heartbeat of my life, and there's nothing left to live for or stay sober for. So this is myself commissioning myself to stay alive. God bless. And I will hopefully, because I'm creating a safe space troll free where I can fully disclose and then hand over to an editor to change names or legally check or turn into fiction. But I'm hoping that at least I can create for myself a safe space to stay alive. Because if I keep all this inside of me, because I don't want to offend my children, I don't want to offend my sisters, I don't want to disgrace my family, I don't want to get censored by YouTube, I don't want to get attacked by trolls, it's making me, it's not healthy. It's not healthy. So that'll do for now. I will either do this as a Patreon exclusive with a minimum of 25 a month, and if you are able to contribute that and you feel contributing to a book stroke audio book video book project is worthwhile, then please do subscribe. And if the trolls subscribe at 25 a month, well, to hell with them. At least I made them pay for me to tell my truth. And if I don't do it that way, I'll make a GoFundMe, and I make no apologies. If you care about SRA survivors or MKUltra survivors or even just child abuse survivors, if you care about this truth being documented for history, please support me. I feel no shame in asking for that. Thank you. Right, not blocked an attack. Wow. Yeah, I'm getting attempts to hack me a lot. Angela Teresa Power Disney on Facebook. God bless. I do have a GoFundMe, but this is a separate project, so let's make it separate in the next week or 2.